Simplified Chaos, episode 93.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to help you lead a more intentional life.
This is Simplified Chaos.
Hello, wonderful friends. Welcome to Simplified Chaos. This is Jillian, one of your hosts, and I'm joined by my co-host and husband, Nicholas.
What's going on, folks? Hope you all are having an amazing week. We've got another great episode here for you today. Jilly, what are we talking about?
This episode is all about our working vacation.
Yeah. Last week was a very fun week. It was an interesting week, something we had never done or experienced before, and it was pretty damn amazing. And we can't wait to tell you all about that. But we're going to leave you with a little cliffhanger because we like to start every episode, if this is your first time joining us, with a little gratitude. So, Jilly, what are you grateful for this week?
Today, well, since we didn't podcast last week, I
Yeah,
feel like
we
there's
did
a
not.
lot of
There's
things
a lot of things going on.
have been happening. But I'm grateful for Karen, our photographer.
Ooh.
We invested in some family photos, and damn, she did spectacular. And that's kind of what I expected, just seeing what her portfolio looked like.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I've been following her for so long on Instagram, and I was like, whenever mini sessions are opening up, I'm booking it. I don't care what the price is. I'm paying the money because I know they were going to be amazing. And she really captured like the essence of us, and it was a lot of fun. And it was only 15 minutes. It was like perfect for like Lucille.
Yeah, I was going to say the mini sessions are the way to go just because it's just enough time to keep a toddler's attention without her wanting to wander off and see different things or just not have it anymore. And she did great. I mean, it was really cool just driving out there and having a 15-minute photo session. And then I was just thinking, what an amazing thing for her, to line up 16 sessions in a row for 15 minutes. When you think about it, that's 4 hours that she's out there and making probably pretty decent money. But, again, it's also for her to showcase, her work. But I mean, you loved her. She has a very, I guess, eclectic style. Is that what you thought?
Yeah, and she's so real on Instagram. Like, you definitely know her personality, and she's not afraid to show behind the scenes of what a photographer's life is really like. Like, it looks like it's this beautiful painted, lifestyle and job, but she talks about like the amount of hours, how stressful it can be. And I just like her authenticness, and her personality that comes out. So it was really cool to meet her in person and just to see her work with our family. So I would definitely use her in the future for sure.
Definitely. And that was the first time we'd done family photos since the day after Lucille was born, when we paid for them to do that in the hospital. So it was really cool to play dress up, even though I just wore what I would typically wear, and have a couple of photos snapped of us.
Yeah. So that's for me. What about you?
There's like a whole laundry list of things that I could talk about, and it could be anywhere from just the impromptu date night we had last night with Lucille in Annapolis with the great weather, or just the fact that we got to spend a couple days in Ocean City thanks to your mom and the condo. But I mean, the MVP of this past week, which we're going to talk a lot about today, are my parents, and really helping us out tremendously, but also, at the same time, getting to spend some good quality time with Lucille. They, and this will pretty much just kind of segue into today's episode, but, we talked about this on our last episode too. Your mom had a much deserved vacation this past week, and, she's our nanny, or, she watches Lucille, she takes care of Lucille and our nephew while we're working during the day. And, she had a little vacation plan. And so we had a good idea of asking my parents if we can come down and visit them in Delaware, and if it would be okay for us to work a couple of days while they got to spend some time with Lucille. And they thought about it for all of half a second and were like, yes, absolutely. So just completely grateful for them for, inviting us into their home, making sure we had meals, watching Lucille, giving us work spots so that we can both work independently and not be in the same room. Like, it was just awesome. So without getting into too much detail, I am extremely grateful for my parents, and this episode wouldn't happen if it wasn't for them.
Absolutely.
So you want to kick this off? I mean, I kind of kicked it off, but
Yeah.
you got your little antidotes.
You kind of brought up what I kind of felt like when I was reflecting, kind of like the theme of this whole experience was that turning what may be like a problem or a struggle into just a creative situation on how can we be more mindful and experience something new and do something different instead of always doing the same routine. So my mom taking a break, it was like, okay, shit, who's going to watch Lucille? You know,
A, well-deserved break, but
no.
B, shit.
But yeah, like originally it was like, oh crap, like we have to find like someone to watch Lucille. We're not working. And instead of like complaining about it and then just like, you know, going down the rabbit hole of negativity, you know, we were like, well, this could be a really fun experience to work, quote unquote, remotely out of the house. And it's even a better opportunity for your parents to have time with her. So I think out of all this whole situation, like even just saying a work vacation, it seems to contradict itself because you're like, how can you work and be on vacation at the same time?
Yeah, because y'all are probably thinking that we took a vacation and decided to work during that, which was the opposite. We were working and it felt like a vacation.
And to me, it's like, it is possible. You know, before I would probably think the same thing. Like, I don't want to work on vacation, but the fact that Lucille had the greatest attention and time with family, it just worked out so perfectly. And I think just bringing that creative mindset while we were there and just kind of making the most of it and, you know, trying out new things. And I even put in my goal setting planner, like my goal was Wanderlust. Like I wanted to visit at least 4 new places, and it could have been like a new park, a new coffee shop, like the simplest things. And man, we visited a lot of new things and places while we were there. And so I'm really grateful that you are open-minded and you take a scenario and you flip it around and we can get creative together. And you're so on board when I'm like, hey, let's do this. And you're like, all right, let's go for it. And so sorry, that was like a long segue into it, but I wanted to like highlight some of the, I don't know, the creative ways that we sought out to make this experience fun instead of like, we're working just in a different state. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it could have very easily been that. It's just like, okay, we're going to go out there and then we're going to work and then we're just going to hang out and eat dinner and whatnot. And it ended up being not that at all. You know, we left on a Sunday just so that we didn't have to wake up but early on Monday morning and drive out there. You know, so we had a chance to really kind of take our time and get out there. And one of the things that we always do when we drive out to my parents' house, so long as it's not late in the afternoon, is we stop at our favorite coffee shop where it originally started, where they roast the actual beans. And so we stopped at Rise Up in Easton. And, you know, then we made our way out there. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it wasn't just going out there and going through the motions of working and then, you know, just, hanging out afterwards, which, you know, we did some nights, but there was a lot of other things that were involved.
Yeah, and I kind of just jotted down because I knew I was going to forget, which I did. So I'm so glad I jotted this down while we were doing it. Is just some of the highlights of our trip and the creative and fun stuff that kind of happened because we mixed it up, because we stopped doing a routine, and because I think we truly listened to like our guts. And I think our guts are always like, how can we make this fun? Like, how can we make the most of this? How can we, but still be intentional to like what we value. And I just wanted to highlight some of the fun stuff that we did while we were away, just to show that it is possible to actually work and be on vacation. I mean, having support is like a big factor, but
huge.
It is totally possible. And it was a lot of fun. I never thought I would say that I would work while I was on vacation, but now I can say I did, and now I'm like, I want to do it again.
Yeah, no, it was, and we're definitely going to do it again. Like, this was an amazing opportunity, and we don't know how much longer that you'll have working, remotely as a teacher. And
that's another thing.
I may have some more flexibility with my role in my position, but you could be back in January or at the beginning of February or not. Who
Yeah.
knows? But now that we've experienced this, we're like, yeah, let's do it again
Yeah,
soon.
I want to seize this opportunity because I don't know how long it's going to last, and I want to just take advantage of it and just do this more often if it's in our budget and if we have support. Like, I'm ready to like do it again. Like, let's go for it.
Yeah, and my parents are ready to do it again too. I mean, they just had an amazing time. They got to see us, but they got to spend some QT
Yeah.
with the granddaughter.
So besides like the amazing family time that we got to have with your
Yeah.
mom and dad, and that was another thing. I didn't cook one meal, and it was so weird that your mom.
I didn't
like,
even think about
took
that, but
the
you
lead.
had a nice long break.
I had a vacation from cooking, which was so strange.
Wow,
and,
I didn't even think about that.
But your mom is just, I think she just knows our routine so well. She like had a taco night, she had planned to have a pizza night. Like she had a menu set and like
Oh,
even
yeah.
asked you like, is this menu okay? Like it was super cute of her to do that.
Oh yeah, no, it was awesome. She was like, my mom makes some really banging ass mac and cheese, and
Yeah.
of course that was the first night meal. It's like, welcome, here is my world famous mac and cheese, and that was an amazing dinner. But then she had the menu planned for the rest of the week, and she even was flexible when we threw a couple curveballs. I have a really good friend who recently moved to Delaware within the past. He'll be in Delaware with 2 years in December, and we've seen him once when we were down in Delaware. Usually when we go to my parents' house, it's like for a day, maybe 2 days, and we really are trying to maximize our time when we're with my parents, and so we really haven't had a chance to see him. But luckily, they were game for coming over for dinner one night, so my mom had beef stir fry on the menu and was able to have enough for 2 extra guests. And they have a dog, a yellow lab that they were able to bring over, and my parents' dog had a little playmate for a couple hours. They were so well behaved too. Like, I mean,
I don't like the word behave.
well,
They
for
played
dogs,
well.
yeah, they played well. I know.
That's just
It's a
me.
bad habit. I know. But it was great to have them come over, and we had a little bonfire after
did,
that.
yeah.
I mean, just caught up, and everything was great. And then we got to meet up with them. We took 2 days off too. Well, I took 2 days off towards the latter part of the week.
Yeah,
So
I took one
that
day
started
off.
my
That was it.
vacation. But we got a chance to do a nice walk with them and go to a bakery and get some good baked goods. Mm-hmm. So that was a huge plus that I didn't even expect going into it. And then it was just like one of those things like, yeah, I should reach out and see if they want to join us.
Yeah,
And so
there
my
was-
my parents being flexible was fantastic, and then them being able to come over and hang out was also great.
Yeah, we had a couple spontaneous ideas and it ended up working out well. We had some connection with, Jimmy and Erica. And then I was like, listen, because you took off Thursday and I took off Thursday and we were just going to have the day to be with family and Lucille, I was like, why don't we plan a date night? That way your mom and dad aren't with Lucille all day long. It's like, we have her for the day and then maybe they can watch her at night. And we kind of escaped to Lewis, which is a cute little town, was like
Little
30,
beach
40
town.
minutes.
Yeah.
And we had this restaurant
Say
that had
30
been,
or 40 minutes
yeah.
from my parents' house?
Yeah.
No, like 15.
No, just kidding. It felt longer. There's this restaurant that I've been eyeing up for so long, and I was like, fuck it, we're seizing this opportunity and we're making
Yeah.
it happen. I think that's the other thing. I think with this whole experience, I have like this small sense of urgency to just truly do things that I've been putting off and just making it happen somehow. So I don't know what it is about this whole experience. I guess because I just think it's so rare and I don't know when it's going to leave, that I feel like I'm just seizing more opportunities to do things that I normally wouldn't do, like having more date nights during the week or having more spontaneous times where
Yeah.
we just escape to a town. Like I have this live for the day in me even more so because I just think this is such a rare opportunity for us to take advantage of and just to have fun. And
That's a great way to look at the whole kind of situation that we're in anyway. I mean, it's been for most people, if you keep track by calendar year, it's been a crappy year for the most part when it comes to like the whole lockdown and our lives being turned upside down. But at the same time, you can look at it two ways. You can look at it as being a shitty opportunity, or you can look at the things that you haven't done. Or like, we've talked about this in past episodes. We've explored Maryland in ways that we've never done before because we're limited on where we can travel this year. Mm-hmm. We're taking advantage of the work from home situation and doing something crazy like working while on vacation. So like, we're choosing to see the positive in things and make the most of the situation rather than just kind of sitting back and saying, this sucks. This is the worst thing ever. I can't wait for 2020 to be over. Like, no, I'm perfectly cool with 2020. Like, it's something different, and we're really seeing how resilient we are as individuals, as a family, as friend, all this kind of thing. So bring it on. Like, keep throwing us curveballs, 2020. We're gonna make the most of it.
I think it's all about mindset too.
That's right.
It's all about
absolutely is
taking this as an opportunity rather than like, this is happening to me. It's happening for me, which ever since I heard that, it was like mind blowing.
I love that.
Yeah. But some of the highlights of our trip of just like, obviously it was great having my own office space because they had that whole upper floor.
Yeah, they set you up really nice up there.
I was like spoiled rotten. So like I would leave after, I could still go on neighborhood walks with her because they have a great little community. And then like one day we got off work and I was like, Lucille and I just ran away to the beach and it was really fun. We sat on the beach and just watched the waves.
You got me coffee.
I got you coffee. There was this moment in the car when Lucille, I feel like this whole vacation, if we ever went out for breakfast, like Lucille is in the stage where like she doesn't really like to eat a lot of our food. Like she's hit or miss with eggs sometimes, but her go-to is bacon. Like we know for sure she's going to eat bacon. So
she's our daughter.
Every restaurant we went to, we're like, can we get an order of bacon? Can we get an order of bacon? And there was this one moment in the car that I had to write down because I didn't want to forget, where Lucille had 2 pieces of bacon.
Oh God.
No, she had one in each hand and she's eaten both pieces of bacon and then she passes out with both pieces of bacon in her hand. And it was like,
that was on the way home.
Yeah. That was like, this is the life. Like,
that was the close to the vacation.
She's freaking double fisting bacon and just passes out. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I want to hold on to this moment and cherish it. But yeah, like we visited a new brewery and had some sour beers, and that was like last minute decision. We got you guys, like when we went to Ocean City, when met up with my sister and her husband, the boys went to go pick up dinner food, and Randy and I decided we're gonna fucking watch a Hallmark movie because we have that station here.
You sucked us in.
And they get home and they just like immediately are invested, like no complaints. And we're like, this is hilarious that you guys are like all into this Hallmark movie.
It is fun, like just making fun of the corniness of it. Like I will say that there is a little fun to it, but I mean, what was disturbing about the whole situation was that the guy who was the lead guy in this movie there was a commercial of him being a lead guy in another movie with another chick. And then when that movie came on, there was a commercial with him in another movie. It's like, do you guys have any other male actors, or is this your only go-to guy? It's like, come on, let's reach into the arsenal a little bit. But here I go. I'm making fun of the corniness of it. But
so that was pretty amusing. And something else that I realized is that, toddlers, Lucille is a toddler, FYI, if anyone didn't know, that they hardcore wear their emotions on their sleeve.
Yeah.
Like anytime they're upset, frustrated, angry, impatient, like whatever they're feeling, they just let it out because they don't know any better. They don't have like an internal like cutoff. Like, and she motivates me to be more, I don't want to say loud, but just release what's bothering me.
Yeah.
And instead of bottling it in because I'm afraid of hurting other people's feelings, or I'm afraid that I'm going to sound selfish. So I'm learning still a lot of life lessons just from this tiny little human that we created. And it just never ceases to amaze me, like what she makes me think, like what she brings out of me. And there was this moment where we were about to leave and I hadn't gotten on the beach, and I was like craving to like walk on the beach and just put my feet in the water. Like it was right there. We had this oceanfront condo for 2 days in Ocean City. And Lucille was just not having it. She didn't want anything to do with the wind, the sand. It was at that hitting point where she was just like done. You could tell she was getting tired, or she had her mindset on doing something else. And I almost was going to like bottle it up and just like kind of pout inside that I didn't get to do it. And then last minute I was like,
I saw that.
You know what? Like, Lucille's vocal about her feelings. So I was like, Nick, like, I really want to walk on the beach. And you could tell, and I don't even know if I asked you, but you're like, go. You're like, go on the beach, go walk.
I could tell.
You're like,
you had that look on your face. Like, you were like a disappointed child. Like when you thought that you weren't going to walk on the beach, I was like, oh my God, like this is a sad puppy right here. I was like, go, like just get out of here and go do what you need to do for as long as you need to do it.
So thank you, Lucille, for making me feel braver with my feelings and just dumping it out and then just communicating it to Nick even more. Like, I thought I was getting better, but you know, she's making me even more vocal. And so I escaped for like maybe 10 minutes and walked on the beach. And then I came back and I was like, I'm a different person. It's just the fact of like a 10-minute walk just like transformed my mind. But I so needed it, and thank you for allowing it and just being flexible as well.
You got it.
Yeah, so that was kind of like the highlight that I wrote down. If there's any missing holes or things that you were like, we forgot about, or any like reflections you had.
I think you covered a lot of the things. Like, I would say that the date night was really cool because we haven't had one since probably June was the last time that we went out on a date night. And you know, it's your mom does a lot around here during the week for us, and you know, Randy and Mark would also be willing to watch Lucille, but you know, we're at that point where we really just kind of love being, you know, with family time, and right now it just seems like it's safe to kind of just stay inside and stay at home and order takeout or whatever. But like, it had been a while since we had actually done that, and it was like, I almost felt like it was like something we hadn't experienced before in such a while, that it just made that night extra special. You know, we walked a little bit before dinner, then we had dinner, and it was amazing. The food was just fantastic.
Yeah, shout out Heirloom.
Yeah, Heirloom in Lewis Beach, money. And then we had a nice little walk afterwards, and you know, we got back and Lucille was still awake. You know, it wasn't super late, so we got a chance to hang out with her for a little bit longer.
I just thought of something.
What's that?
The sex that we had.
Uh-huh.
There's something about, I think we talked about this in another episode, when you feel like you're not supposed to. It's like you feel like teenagers again, because we slept in the same room as Lucille and your parents obviously live in that house.
Yeah.
It made our sex really good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm talking about it.
No.
You're looking at me that look like, oh shit.
Why? No, I'm not giving you any look. I'm just
saying, like,
I have no other words except for yes.
Seizing the opportunity to like get intimate with your partner when it seems like it's not the best scenario, because man, that just changes up the sex routines, which I think is so needed in a marriage or relationship, like just to mix things up. And yeah,
it's like Febreze. It keeps it fresh.
Oh Jesus.
God damn, I should never watch TV.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I almost forgot about our sexcapades. Yeah. It was phenomenal as well.
I think we should end on that. I mean, that was
all right. We'll end on sex.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
I mean, that's where I always seem to end on. So, but yeah, no. I mean, it was just, you know, again, shout out to my parents for being rock stars this past week, and you know, opening up their house to us, and you know, we are looking forward to doing that again, and I know that they are as well. So, you know, I would say, and obviously we'll have a take action challenge, but I mean, think outside the box during this time. You know, you never know what can happen, and you know, just go for it.
Seize the opportunity.
Yeah. So, Jilly,
yes.
Do you have any resources for our listeners today?
I do.
I know you always come prepared.
I do. And it's funny. Originally, I was going to be like, no resource. But then when I was finding the quote, it led me to something else, which I'm like, this is a really fucking good resource. I'm going to share
connecting the dots here.
Yeah.
All right. Dot connect in the reverse.
So this was a blog post on BuzzFeed. The 23 absolute best quotes to boost your creativity. And what's funny is that I'm just realizing this now, that all of the pictures were not showing up on the blog post. And now I'm realizing that the pictures were the quotes. But they
Bum, bum, bum.
they had a little blurb about each quote, and that's what I wrote down. So I didn't write
Okay.
down the actual quotes. I wrote down, I guess, what the
The
quote,
reflection.
they were like meaning. I'm just realizing this now. So number one, whatever the quote was, make all of these things do boost your creativity. So number one was make connections. So just the fact of making a connection, makes you think creatively. Number two, especially when they're unexpected. So, kind of hooking up with our friends Erica, it was unexpected and it led us to like, hey, let's go on a walk. Hey, let's stop at a bakery. Like so much creative things came from that. Getting anxious. This is so true. When I'm anxious or like I'm really craving something, that's when I think creatively to like take some action because I'm like, I need to change the state of mind. Like, what can I do? I act on it. Getting angry. Again, I feel like when I get angry, I'm like, what action can I take to solve it? And usually that leads to something really fucking creative.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. And then it says, and to use that anger. So like, using your emotions basically to find a creative solution to make your life more happier.
Do you get angry often?
I'm so angry. No.
All the time.
But no. Stop thinking. So I think sometimes when we think too much, it like leads us to stunt our creativity.
We overthink.
Mm-hmm. And then it said, stop overcomplicating things. Number 8, don't be
Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, good one, honey. Number 8, don't be afraid to imitate. So like if you do see something on Instagram, it's not like you're comparing, but I know I'll see something. I'm like, that's an awesome idea.
Hell
like,
yeah.
I want to go to that park, and then we end up doing it. Yeah. It says don't be afraid to imitate or to steal. So like to steal ideas and like do something.
Word.
Number 10 was stop second guessing. And I'm not going to do 25. I'm going to stop at 15. Number 11 was listen to yourself. So just trusting your gut. Be reckless, creative when you just go for it.
Yeah.
You don't think?
I went for it on Thursday night.
You would bring it back to sexual intercourse. Number 13. Change your perspective. So like getting out of the house, going somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Number 14, it just says
change your work environment.
Radically. So we do radically change that.
We did radically change it.
And number 15, just trust your instincts.
Go with your gut.
Yeah. So anyway, I didn't tell you the quotes, but everything that went along with the quotes.
So what is the quote of the day, Jilly?
The quote of the day is by Edward de Bono. Creativity involves breaking out of unexpected patterns in order to look at things in a different way.
It's very fitting. It kind of ties everything all together.
And I had one more.
Oh,
sorry.
Double quote.
Pablo Picasso. The chief enemy of creativity is, quote unquote, good sense.
That guy have his ear cut off or something?
You would just like completely disregard the quote and go right to his ear. And I feel like you've done that before because I'm pretty sure I've quoted Pablo Picasso.
Yeah, we'll have to go back in the records and check that one out. Yeah. So hopefully I'm not going to butcher this next part like I did in the last episode. If you guys want a really good laugh...
Wait, we forgot to take action.
Oh, yeah. Take action. See, I'm already butchering things.
I re-listened to the ending of our last episode so many times.
My God, you came downstairs when I was working and replayed it literally 15 times.
Okay, Rob Lowe.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah, I know.
And we're just in tears like you were listening to it for the first time. So yes, if y'all want to hear something very funny, listen to the last episode, but definitely listen to my closing.
The very, very end.
It was a closing to be to make all closings.
I peed my pants a lot.
So what's the take action challenge besides listen to the last episode?
It's just get creative and then just do whatever it takes to make your life more fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you like this episode, please do us a favor and help us spread the message. You can do this by writing a review or simply by sharing this episode with a friend. And remember, sharing sparks a conversation. Conversation leads to action. And action is how we're able to live a happy and intentional as hell lifestyle. We want to thank you all for listening today, and we will see you again next week.
See you later, y'all.
I didn't fuck that one up.
You didn't.